Right, hello everybody, this is CVGS, I'm the captain here and I have Dempster.
Hi!
Ooh, that's loud in my ears, so hang on, I forgot one.
Sorry.
I forgot the important thing, which is to start playing some music, and I finally included all the music that we use in our fight videos, so
Yeah.
it's awesome and nice. So, but yes, welcome to our Vanguard discussion stream, our weekly discussion live stream where we check out the news that came out from yesterday's live stream. And this one is a really good one this week because it was such a great time. It's like the best 45 minutes of like Vanguard, like watching the Vanguard live stream in like quite a while. Jello Potato, hello, and it was hello, and it was Bonk go to horny jail. Hang on, there you go.
Hi Kevin, thank you for jumping in.
Welcome. So yes, just want to point out you guys are insane because you guys got us to like, 90 likes on this thing, which is fantastic, and 28 retweets on this because this is the meme of yesterday, 100%. I'm playing the wrong song for it also, but yeah, this is the meme of yesterday. So Bonko to horny jail.
Like this is like the best meme ever lah.
Yeah, okay, so to go into serious mode, yes, the news of the Brandt Gate has been released and they are bringing with them the new prison/imprison mechanic with them, where basically you have a set order card, which is like a field spell card that can be put in the order zone, and whenever and then you have skills. The Brandt Gate units have skills that allows them to put units into the prison. And yeah, just to blow this up. Whoops. Oh, suddenly playing Zero Dragon music. Alright, so let me just blow this up so you guys can see. Alright, so
hey Aries, thank you very much for coming into the stream.
Hello. Right, so yes, order zone. When your opponent would normal call a unit, he can do the following. He can Soul Blast 1, pay Soul Blast 1, and then he can choose one of his cards in the prison and call it the Regard Circle. Or he can Card Blast 1, choose 2 units and call them to the the Regard Circle. So this is a unique take on the buy mechanic and especially the lock mechanic. So because I was personally very afraid that it was going to be a lock mechanic. It's like they're going to introduce lock so early into like Overdress. That's like scary.
I just think since lock has been relinquished in the V series, I highly doubt that they would come back actually, like even for Overdress. But this is actually quite a welcome change.
It is, especially with the fact that Overdress itself, right? I'm just playing around with the windows right now, so especially with Overdress itself being restricted to the Dragon Empire, and just seeing all the other gimmicks from the other decks actually, just play uniquely to what they are, and it's so nice to see like each and every one of them be so unique in terms of different styles of play. And Leon really hit the what's the term? He hit the mark. Hit the mark on the head. Yeah. He hit the nail on the head.
Hit the nail on the head.
Hit the nail. He hit the nail on the head with the fact that because not every deck should have the Overdress mechanic, and that really kind of like diversifies everything that all the start decks as we go along, also, which is pretty nice also.
Yeah.
But you're looking forward to this. You're playing this deck after all, so why don't you just go through with us like what can we expect from this? So let me just bring up the
okay, on a bare minimum, right, expect to see a lot of field debilitation on the enemy side. So expect to see like consistently empty field from your side, and all your cards are on my end. I take your deck and I put here.
I put it behind bars. Basically it. I bonk it, go to horny jail.
Yes, bonk your entire Dragon Empire, your Dark States, your Stoicheia, your Kettle Century, everything.
Yep.
Everything goes to jail.
Everything goes to horny jail, yes.
Yes, horny jail.
Right.
Yeah, but aside from that, like I do foresee a lot of cost management
Yes.
Because it's not just like, you don't anyhow. Oh my god, that's so Singaporean.
Go ahead. People
like,
understand so.
I know. Like you don't like just imprison whatever you want. You have to really pick carefully what cards to imprison. And if your opponent calls out something to actually bait you out, then you fall for it. Then you will be the one imprisoned instead. You will go to horny jail, not them.
Yeah.
So I see like a lot of mind games being played on both sides, which is right up my alley actually. Because when I played Susano and Amaterasu back then, I always play these kind of mind games also. So this is the same but not really kind of play style that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And +1 drive consistently every turn if you can. This is beautiful.
It is. It's absolutely fantastic just to see. Like we were all complaining weeks before that why they're not showing us the Brandt Gate stuff. I think we know why, and it's kind of like the best for last, you could say. Yeah, because for weeks now, because especially with Kayo mentioning in the chats for the past weeks, he's been mentioning that there's the field order spell cards and then there's abilities on the cards itself, which now we can actually talk about because there's finally full confirmation from official confirmation from Bushiroad that there's going to be an order zone, and set order cards are actually going to be face out cards that come into play for in different ways or so. What kind of other set order cards can you see? Like maybe not for Brandt Gate, but like for others as well. Like for the other nations.
Let's see. Honestly, I really can't think of any. But okay, I think maybe for one, Cattle Century might have an order card that allows you to treat anything that's not a grade 3 as a grade 3. They like say maybe like all your grade 2 units are also treated as grade 3s, something like that. Or like say for example for I don't know, just a fast example like for Dark States, like, even if your Vanguard does not have Final Rush, if you have that order card, it allows you to go into Final Rush.
By paying the cost, you go into Final Rush.
Yeah.
I can see that
correct,
being
something like that.
I get it. I can see that something being in the BTs when they release it. So also Leon is still on his way home, so hopefully he'll get back soon. That way he'll be able to join. Not much, Andrew. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, you didn't miss much because we just started. I actually forgot to put up the clock, which was silly of me, because we don't want to keep track of time, so we don't want to go overboard with this. So, so
overboard. Sorry,
don't want to go overdress on that. So there we go. Right. In terms of seeing what other set order cards could be, I can also see like set order cards for Dragon Empire. Dragon Empire, like I can see this may be a bit broken, but it's something we might be able to see down the line. So, a set order card, right, whereby if you pay a cost, maybe Soul Blast 1, maybe not Counter Blast 1, or maybe Soul Blast 1, you pay Soul Blast 1, all your units can go into Overdress without having the original dress underneath. For one turn, so yeah. Seems our chat is a bit on the slow end here because we're seeing it on here we go. There you go, Crown Clown, thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream. I think the order for Keta will give shields for grade 3s. Yes, that is true, because if they're gonna be introducing set cards, right, definitely Keta Century will need something that gives grade 3 shield. So like set it down and maybe it can be a continuous skill throughout the entire game.
Or at least like pay a cost like Soul Blast 1, Counter Blast 1.
I think with the way the Keta Sanctuary functions, I don't think that it should have a cost. I think it should be like if you have the thing that you play down early, right, that means that all your grade 3s will have shields, meaning that you have better defenses. To put a cost behind it in order to activate the shield power might make it a bit more resource heavy.
That's true also.
So I can actually see something like that being a free ability. It's a continuous skill that as long as this card is the order zone, it will always give the plus 5k shield. And the fact that order cards can actually stack in the order zone. So like it could go up to like from 5, the more order cards you put there, like 5, 10, 15, 20. Like it can get insane so if you manage to get 4 of them in there, which I can see that actually being viable and not totally game breaking, at least not to a far extent. So especially since getting that high number require you to put a lot of order cards in there.
Yep.
I'm excited for what's that? I'm excited for set order cards because the possibilities are kind of like endless, especially in terms of Vanguard. Like we've seen this with with Battle Spirits, with the burst with the burst cards. So, and to a certain extent,
Yeah.
Another old probably dead game from Bushiro, Dragonborn. Dragonborn.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, they did, but they did have the trap mechanic, which I think is pretty nice as well. So I kind of like am wondering, do you think we'll see like face down order cards?
Face down order cards that activate when certain conditions are met that does something to the opponent, right?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't really think so. Because from what I can see so far, Bushier has always handled cards that are visible. Like they don't, like, other than the lock mechanic, which makes sense, and the binding face down, everything that requires a skill is always face up. Like there's no card that works when it's face down, except maybe for like Dark Matter Chameleon is one, but the one is you gotta flip it up anyway. So I honestly, at this point, I don't think they will do something like that, but I'm waiting for them to surprise us.
Because I think it is alright for them to actually include like something like face down set cards as well. I think it'll be interesting to add a trap element to Vanguard. Excuse me, sorry, gas it too. So. Alright, Ares asks, is prison like lock or bind? So I put it up on the screen so that you can see right here. So the new mechanic for prison and imprison is basically the set order card is a prison. Set order card / prison is what it's called. This goes into the new order zone, which is where your G zone is or where your marker zone is, right? Then basically you have units. There are units in the Brandt Gate Start Deck that allows you to send cards, your opponent's cards, either rearguards or card from his hands, to the prison, and so they are considered like inside the prison. So think of it as like bind. It's closer to bind than it is to lock. But the difference is that, right, if you look down here, there's a Soul Blast and Counter Blast cost. This card's specific skill is that, right, when your opponent would normal call a unit, he can do the following. He can Soul Blast 1 to choose one card in the prison and call it the Regard Circle, or he can choose, or he can Counter Blast 1 and choose 2 cards and call it the Regard Circles. So that's the prison mechanic in play, so, and that's how it works for the Brandt Gate Start Deck. So.
It's like what Crown Clown says lah. It's like bind light.
It's like bind light. So, and again, I've actually seen like some of the YouTubers that we follow on YouTube. They've actually talked about the mechanic, and they all kind of like talk a lot about how, you know, how good it is from the player perspective to be able to play a sense of control with the deck. But I always see it from both sides. I see it from the opponent side as well. And to me, when I face off against this prison mechanic, right, I actually don't feel like I've lost any power. Like, take for example the grade 2. Hi Brain, welcome to the stream. So like the grade 2 says your opponent chooses one card and puts it into the prison. Your opponent chooses, you don't get to choose one random card in his hand, so he can potentially plan his turn. Yeah, it says so. Let me just grab the card for you so you can see.
Alright.
Hang on, where is Kyanite Blue? And I think she's above. Where is she? There way. Result Pick. Right? So Result Pick. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard Circle, your opponent chooses a card from his hand and imprisons it in the ring. So he can actually plan ahead. So hello Samuel, hello.
Hello.
Yes, so this is the one whereby I'm facing off against this, and he puts down the grade 2 in the Vanguard Circle. Then I get to choose which card goes into prison, meaning that I can actually plan my turn ahead. So it's like it's a card that goes into the prison zone, and then after that, right, in the next turn, if I have the cost rate or if I plan the cost rate, right, I can Soul Blast 1, get the unit out and put it onto the Regard Circle. Especially if I'm like, say, playing Captain Sanctuary, and then I want the grade 3 to be on the field. I want to be grade 3 on the field once I hit Bastion. So that is one way of kind of like, it may be costly, but that is definitely one way that I can get my opponent to or rather like my opponent will see what is going on, but he's got no power to stop it, because not only does he need the card in the prison, but he knows that I have the capability to pull it out from prison to pay the bail or sorts. So yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying. Going off the Great One, there's going to be more than one prison card. Yes, there's definitely going to be one type of prison card. I think we'll see most of those in the BT. But for now, for the start deck, we're getting Galactolus right now, which is actually looks fun from the get-go. So, right. Sora says, something I just realized. What will happen in the future to the cards placed in the prison zone should Vanguard have mechanics that can retire orders? Okay, that sounds like a Dragon Empire possible kind of thing. I'm guessing that if you retire the order cards, right, the prison imprisoned units, right, will either go back to your hand, they will be called to the field, or they will go into the drop zone. So that's the way that I can see those actually being there. So. But we have to wait until we see most likely Dragon Empire, right, do something that affects the order zone. With a retire of sorts also. So I think that might be. I
believe Dragon Empire will be the first nation to be capable of doing that.
I believe it makes the most sense for it to be that way as well. So, alright. Finally, it's here. My second deck is here. Yes, your second deck is here, and it's it in terms of memes, in terms of hilarity, it's like the best one. Like completely one of the best.
You were right, Cap. They actually saved the best for the last, in a sense.
I told you should get psyched, because if they save best for last, it's gotta be something funny. So
I know.
Alright, Sam. I think
that's a meme. That's for sure. Sorry.
We got a meme with the whale when Lucum on Antisario was released. So yeah, that's a.
Now we got a bigger one with go to horny jail.
Bonk, go to horny jail. Jeez, I'm gonna have to replicate. I'm in the midst of trying to figure out how to replicate it. I already got the bonk sound effect, so that's something that's gonna be seen in the recap video, which you guys can check here on YouTube tomorrow when it releases. So, right.
Nice.
Samuel says, I think there's not enough cards to put in the order zone right now, because you kind of need some ways to put cards in prison from the rear guard. If there's right now, it's just the grade 2 that forces your opponent to put cards into the prison from hand. But do remember that Sarah Snow, right, she has the act ability once per turn to choose 2 of your opponent's rearguards and send into the prison zone. It not only works on the Vanguard circle, it works on the rearguard circle, which actually caught me by surprise, because it can work on both circles, and that's one way you can maintain it. There was a new card that was actually released earlier. Let me see if I can find it. But the new card that's released for the Brandt Gate Start Deck was actually a battle right, and its skill is that, right, when this unit attack hits, right, choose 2 of your opponent's rearguards and send them to the prison.
Okay. Yeah, so there are support cards that allow you to send cards to the prison as well, so you don't have to worry about just the Rizard Ping being the only one.
Yes.
And then again, this is a rearguard only skill for a grade 3.
Yeah.
It's got Persona right too.
So yeah, they all kind of have Persona rights from there. So they do have ways, although not the most optimal ways, but don't discount Seraph Snow, because Seraph Snow as your ace, right, can still do a lot of being able to put in. The question is, how much is your opponent going to be willing to pay the cost to retrieve his units back from prison? How much money does he have to post bail for all of his units to be back on the field? So yeah, the new grade 3 puts 2 rears in prison. Yep, I can't that we were just talking about it, because otherwise the grade 3 is not the best. Yeah, so as I pointed out, so but the grade 3 needs 3 to get the drive check, right? Yes, he does need 3 to get the drive check. It is beneficial, but if the plan going forward, like, you can do without it, Sarah Snow can actually work without having the 3 in there. Not to mention as well, if he's only able to get just the 1 in there, right, that's enough, because that's plus 10k, and that is an extra 10k guard that he needs to put down for his opponent to be able to guard off the attack. So that actually is big enough as it is. The plus drive is beneficial. So if you can work around the limitations of the deck, right, you might be able to get 3 from 0 if you work things out correctly. So it's just a matter of seeing what the rest of the deck has to offer. That's just where you go. Wait, it's Vanguard Regard. Yeah, it's Vanguard Regard. So alright. Our Battle Princess colors reminds me of Power Rangers. Yes, they do. We've got the hit ever since they released the key visual for the arts for Brandt Gate. So your starter is actually the Red Ranger.
Starter. Oh yeah.
That's your starter is a Red Ranger.
We have 2 support rangers. What are the triggers?
Yellow is your crit, green is your heal, and after that you got pink, you've got blue, and then you've got white, which is the leader. So
White Ranger.
White Ranger bonking power. White Ranger bonking power. Alright. Alright, Andrew says, if I ain't commenting as much, asking questions or multitasking, leveling something is a game, listening to you
No
guys.
problem,
No problem at all. So, absolutely no problem at all. So,
Listen to a VTuber meme squirrel. Oh, is it the one that usually looks to the left like this?
yep.
You know. Okay, anyway.
Right. Brian Dominguez, has any of you noticed color borders as black, yellow, green, red, blue, pink, and now blue? If you mean the the cards itself, yeah, actually the borders of the bottom, if you mean, right, yes, they are supposed to indicate different types of cards. It's been well established since the start of Vanguard, whereby black cards are normal units, or rather unique cards. Yellow is actually triggers. And then they introduced red for strike, so G units. And then after that, now they have the blue
green
ones.
For green for G Guardians.
Green for G Guardians, I forgot about that. And
then pink, if I'm not wrong, are for song cards in Bank Dream.
The Bank Dream, yes. And now we finally have blue, which is for the order cards.
Order cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week will be the Bald Guys deck. Yes, we'll actually be seeing some stuff from the BT. So this will be interesting to see, especially since we are gonna be seeing what the deleter / link joker style kind of cards really gonna look like. So
we're gonna be seeing Mr. Worldwide.
We're gonna see Mr. Worldwide. Totally. So, Aris says, do you think prison skill will be with all Brandt Gate grade 2s and grade 3s? Not necessarily, because with the as we said before, with it no longer being clans and now it being nations, right, there is a possibility, right, that there's going to be a section of cards or a set of cards, right, that's not going to be revolving around the prison mechanic. It's going to be doing its own thing, maybe more towards the style of Link Joker, maybe the style of Nova Grappler, maybe even other styles as well. So the beauty of this, right, is that you can still have your prison system as like the character, the character's characteristic of what they use, but you can also have a sub set of cards that plays a different style, and that's something that we've always like we were happy to see when they first announced that they're going to be condensing it from 24 clans to 5 nations. And it opens the door for creativity and opens the door for deck building as well, because you can also include some of these subset of cards into your prison system, your prison mechanic, and then you can just kind of like, you know, then you can just kind of like build something more unique towards you, so, and which is something that I'd be interested to see in competitive sense even as well, not just casual but also in competitive sense. So. Right, the new review card, Alert Guard Gunner, takes 2 regards, that's the thing right there. Free the homies. No, they all did something wrong, that's why they got bonked, went to horny jail. So this one is a bit more serious, it's actually going to shoot you and send you to horny jail. So
shoot your ass to horny jail.
Guys, I was talking about the prison, is that we haven't seen much counterblast requirements. That is true, there is some, we haven't seen a lot of counterblast requirements, but then again, it could come with the other set of cards that we haven't seen thus far, and it is specific to each nation. So remember, Violence Rules, if you're in Final Rush, you can Soul Blast 5, and then all units in the front row gets plus 10k. Or rather, all units in front row restand. Sorry, I forgot the skill already. So, yeah. So there isn't much counterblast cost, but I haven't seen the rest of the deck just yet. So if there isn't any, that means there's a lot of space for both players to actually, you know, use the prison mechanic in a way. But as far as we see, we're gonna have to wait and see the release of the start decks, which is gonna be 2 weeks from now. Slowly but surely, Persona Right is a 23k base, with Persona Right is 33k. This is with 1 imprisoned card. Yes, that's what I was talking about with Sarah Snow. Don't discount her, because she really is very, very good. Even if you can't get the extra drive, right, just that 33 right there with Persona Right. And then this song comes into play. Funny.
Yes,
so.
Very true, very true.
Very, very true. So you're hearing the music, right?
I don't hear anything because I'm directly connected to the call, but it's okay.
It's okay. So.
Just tell me what music I need to be aware of. Then I will dance. I'll vibe to it.
I'll tell you when something good happens. So right, right there's your credit is that squirrel. Isn't the ball guy using the Grand Blue stuff? Are we getting the Sentinel reveals next week too? I'm excited. Yes, they did mention that they're going to be revealing more of the Sentinels, and I'm excited because I do hope that they will announce drop PGs, because drop PGs have been so successful. It's like one of the best things ever to happen to PGs, making them actually into the Sentinels, the perfect guards of the game.
But from what I think, right, this time around, I doubt they'll be bringing back the drop PGs very soon. They're probably going to be coming up with something different. But if that's the case, right, I think this opens some room for a bit of a speculation as well. So we can like sort of think about what will this new generation of of PGs will be.
Absolutely, the fact that they are dedicating a whole subsection to triggers, I believe that is important to take note, because we might be seeing something new for Sentinels. Like there could be, it could not just be grade zero Sentinels. We could be seeing like the return of like the 30k crit Sentinels. We could see maybe even front triggers having them as well. So like there could be a whole sort of capabilities. We have to wait until next week in order to see what we will get from the triggers, and to lift off of what some of the other YouTubers have said, none of us has seen what the triggers does. So that's something that we hope to see in next week's live stream. So I think it's important that we see what the triggers can actually do. Samuel says I have to go to get edited, but no problem. Thank you for dropping by, Samuel. I appreciate it.
Alright, thank you for dropping by.
Thank you.
Have all the best for tomorrow.
All the best to tomorrow. So Sora asks, what do you think of imprisoned special ability to other strategies in premium? Think Link Joker locking with police officers, arresting with prison. Okay, here's the thing. While you have the prison system in place, it will not be as efficient as lock, because if you go with Link Joker and then if you play Star Raiders, you will find more efficiency with the lock mechanic than you would with the prison mechanic, because the prison mechanic, while it can remove units out from the field, right, at the same time also, right, they can actually pay the cost to fetch back. So you kind of like have to think about like which is the better balance, removing their resources or maintaining the lock mechanic so that they have no access to those resources. Sometimes you might think that if you do try to play both, it is possible to do so, but I think you will struggle with finding the balance between playing the prison system or lock mechanic between the two. So
I agree. Yes.
Yep. I would say that the prison system might work well for deleters, because you can delete the Vanguard and after that you can imprison all of his rearguards. Like I think that might be a bit more viable. Like delete with the prison mechanic, I think that one will be alright actually. That might be fun to see.
Delete with imprison, It's definitely much better than with lock. That's how I feel as well,
I agree as well. So let's see where I left off with. The ball guy uses Stoicheia, yes. Because they are looking like Grand Blue stuff. They do. That's what we'll be seeing next week actually. So the new PGs can just be redirecting an attack to any rearguard. I think. What do you think? What do you think?
Oh, here's the problem. If you have no rearguards to redirect to, what will it do then? That card is like pretty much useless already. If that's the case. Unless we are talking about like, on top of redirecting, you also have some extra shield power, like maybe for example the 30k Sentinel plus a redirect. That one makes sense.
Oh yeah, actually
that one makes sense.
Actually, you might be onto something with Dumjit. Remember Dumjit? Dumjit had the capabilities like for every Sentinel in your drop zone, right? This unit has plus 15k shield or 5k shield. I can't remember one or the other. Yeah, so you could have something similar. In fact, that Sentinels, right? If called alone. If called on its own, right, then, you know, based on certain stuff, like, we'll take Brandt Gate. If you have a card in the prison, this unit gets plus 15k shield. That's a possibility. We can also see, what's that? We can also see, like it can just be back to the OPGs. I would say, I would personally say that the whole redirecting attack to any rearguard, right, would not make sense, because PG is absolute. And so redirecting it, right, will not make it a PG at all. So it will just be like a skill that that you could apply to, like, say a defensive Vanguard, or maybe to a Guardian unit as well. But in terms of putting that on the PG, I would say not really, because you probably want to put that on, like, say, your front triggers.
Yeah.
That might make the most sense. So, deleters with the deleters with the female police. I know what hentai that is. Please.
Say so, please, Andrew. Say so. It's say so night tonight.
family friendly, please. So thank you. So
family friendly. Say so.
okay. What's our favorite nation so far?
Cap, you go first.
Okay. If we after seeing the review for Brandt, right, I think I'm more in love with mechanic than I am with the nation itself. But I'm still gonna stick to the nation I'm gonna be playing, which is Dark States.
Brandt Gate.
Hey guys.
No argument. Hey guys.
Yeah, totally. So, what your favorite guys' nation so far? Yeah. We just mentioned that. So.
Yeah. I think our opinions didn't really change much from when we first saw everything.
Correct. So because I think once we saw like Violence Bros, I think once Dark States the gimmick came out, right, it's like I immediately I'm comfortable with like, okay, I'm happy with the choice for Dark States. So because I like the mechanic and I like that it's different from the Dragon Empire one in the fact that they don't have the overdress mechanic. But going into the rest of it as they get revealed, so my enjoyment or rather the thing that I will call my favorite nation thus far with Dark States, it's still there. So like I like the prison mechanic, but I like the prison mechanic for what it does and for the jokes that it can make. But but in terms of like favorite nations, not the nation itself, is like it will still be Dark States for me. So
makes sense. That's
makes sense. It'll be as say so as Squirrel, no promises.
Alright, if you say so.
Alright. Okay, so that's all the stuff from the news for that. So I think we have to wait. If Leon is able to come on, then we will definitely continue conversation for it. But one thing that we should talk about is definitely we're past 10 years of Vanguard. So 10 years
already.
Past Zoo. JP asks, has Zoo joined with Magalanica? Yes. 2/3 of Magalanica, because one of the clans is going to be their own nation. And they're on a whale.
Yep. They gotta get their own boost once a year again. With like stupendous amount of OPness.
Yeah, so like it just makes sense to throw them into to their own nation rather than the way that they're going. So just put them on
make
the
it a whale too. Why not?
Correct. So yes, Zoo has joined Magalanica. They're under the leader named Stoicheia, the Sage.
Yes.
And under their leadership, they are thriving as a nation. Together with all of Zoo and Grand Blue and Alco Force together as one. So yes.
Yep.
10 years. 10 years is for Vanguard. Do you have any memories? Like, is there anything that we haven't talked about really, at least not on an open scale? Like, it is amazing that Vanguard itself has lasted 10 years, and I think me and Leon have kind of saw it coming because the core gameplay of it was like superbly strong. So Haruki, hey guys, sorry I'm late. Hey guys, no problem. So
no, you gotta say that. You gotta say it like that. Sorry I'm late. Hey guys.
Oh yeah. I should. Sorry I'm late. Hey guys. Hey Haruki. So yeah.
God. Andrew says, I'll be say so if you say so, but I'll see myself out.
So Bermuda is solo
but
nice.
Stay here first.
Yeah. So Bermuda
solo,
is solo nice. Yeah, I mean they've been solo for a long time. Because they've only ever gotten their main sets from their own respective clan boosters. So when they were condensing everything into the 5 main nations and Lyrical Monetasio, it just makes sense for Bermuda Triangle to just be that nation. So instead of joining part of Stoicheia, they can just be their own things, and it's been proven successful thus far. So for them to change the formula will make no sense. So yeah. Which nation has Bermuda Triangle gone? It's called Lyrical Monetasio.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. They are their own nation. They are their own nation. So
Lyrical Monasterio.
Monasterio, okay. Lyrical Monasterio.
I think it's I think Monasterio is another name for monastery.
Yeah, it's a religion thing.
Really? Wait. I think Monasterio is like one of those another language.
I think it might be a music term. I think it makes sense. It's a music term, but I like to think that it's actually,
Oh
a
no,
religion.
monastery is the municipality in Spain.
So it is a religious
see.
thing. So it's a lyrical
I
church.
guess.
So Bermuda Triangle is now a lyrical church on a whale.
Can you imagine, right? If one of those mermaids come down one day to whatever nation and then go like, "Kok. Good morning, sir. Would you like to listen to our Lord and Savior something?"
Would you like to listen
The
to Lord and
whale.
Savior the whale? Yeah, so basically Bermuda remains as the moneymaker. Bermuda
Correct.
Triangle has always been
always
the
been that
moneymaker
way.
for Bushiroad. So why change
Yeah.
what is working for them? So,
Mhm.
and it's alright actually, because if you ask me, right, this is probably an unpopular opinion. I would hate it if Bermuda Triangle was part of Stoicheia.
Yeah.
I would completely hate it if that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that Bermuda Triangle has a good thing going for them, sales-wise and boost-wise as well. So for them
Yes,
to
I
be
agree.
in their own nation, right, actually, it makes the most sense in the world for them to do it that way. And it also continues to keep the Stoicheia actually as balanced as possible, because as we've known, every time they release a Bermuda set, it's always going to be topping the metas.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Some things just never change after 10 years.
So that grade 3 is the waifu Megazord? No, I don't think it's the waifu Megazord.
No.
It's a battle
It's not,
droid,
it's not.
so it's not the Megazord. The Megazord hasn't been revealed yet, so
Think of this as Turbo Ranger or Car Ranger's Koban. You know that the police car? The
Yes.
signal police Koban? Yeah, something like that.
think of it, if you prefer Power Rangers, think of it as like Ninja to the Power Rangers when they had the ninja powers.
Yes, my name is Ninja and I sound just like a skull from Mandatail.
Was it Papyrus?
Yes, assuming Papyrus has a voice.
But yeah, he does have that voice, so yeah.
He does, but it's not official. Like there is no official sound voice for any of the characters in Undertale.
That's true. Okay, back to the topic that we're talking about again. So, yeah, 10 years of Vanguard. Like, as I was saying, me and Leon always knew that Vanguard had a strong gameplay. So we aren't surprised that it's made it 10 years. But with all of the decision making that they've done, especially with the G format, right? It was very hard for us to kind of like get behind. You know this very well. It's really kind of hard for us to actually get behind the direction that the Vanguard was going. So the full reboot was like super surprising to us. It really came out of nowhere. But yeah, what do you think? Like we haven't really talked about this in the open. What do you think about the V series when it was rebooted?
Okay, when it was first rebooted, right, I thought it was actually a pretty good idea. Because it doesn't really like how should I say, like you don't need any prior knowledge of Vanguard in order to play it. You can literally play it fresh off the bat, and you wouldn't have lost any experiences prior to that anyway. So I think it's a good idea that they rebooted it, but at the same time, right, I think they were thinking that it was too good of an idea. So when they started to evolve the game, in a sense, they kind of like made some really complacent decisions that kind of like ruined the whole experience of Vanguard. And it is very evident, right, when they reach the G era of the V series. It's kind of funny because the G era originally kind of managed to single-handedly take down tarnish the entire reputation that it built upon itself. Like with more and more weird mechanics and all sorts of weird things coming in, right? You can sort of see that everything that built up to Gize's occupation was very it wasn't quite well thought out, I think. Like everything was just revolving around striding and what the protagonists play. Like, okay, to be honest, right, like when Shoji Kazuma came out with Luwara, all of a sudden every single focus went to him. Like as if he's a huge character. Technically he is, but that's because the writers wrote it in conjunction with the card releases. So it's like the whole show was never about it was never about Kronos and his team already. It was just entirely on Kazuma, and Kazuma was the like. If you ask me, right, the character development for Kazuma, it was not very good. It doesn't really build up well, in my opinion. And then all of a sudden, he's like a very important character, and Luat is too damn good. And I honestly didn't like that because, like, it's very obvious at that point that they're just like cashing in already. They're just making money off of whatever that we fed them. I guess. So when the reboot happened, right? I mean, for a while it was okay. Like for the I'll say generation, the first generation, with the OG Vanguards, that was really good. You can see like a very precise balance between all the different clans. But when the G generation came out, I mean, at the time nobody really cared much about Outmal, or Asha, or Chronojet Dragon. But when Luat came out, that was a huge problem. I think we all talked about it in great detail already. Yeah. So there's really no need to talk to repeat what we already said here. But like it was really obvious. Like it's really funny. Like the later part of G era always like manages to tarnish the entire Vanguard's reputation. So, yeah, that's basically my take on the V series. What about you, Cap?
Well, before I get into that, good morning from the US, guys. Hello, Adis. Welcome to the stream. Everybody's all chiming in with their stuff, so I'll get to theirs first.
Yeah. Sure.
Utskash Sharma says G sucked first season. Only if you talked about the anime, but G in the first season was fantastic. Yeah. I enjoyed G in the first season gameplay wise as well.
G was good when it started, yes.
For the V series to actually follow the manga, that's actually kind of okay. It's a retelling of like the similar story, and with the game change format as well, they're able to kind of like retell stuff. So hey, Leon, welcome to.
Hi, Leon.
And yes, sorry to keep everybody waiting, and my camera is not on.
No worries. There we go. Yeah, we're just talking about the 10th anniversary. So I asked the question like what do we think of the V series? So like when it first came out, because we weren't expecting them to actually do a reboot when they announced V series. So I'm just reading what everybody said. So following the manga was nice and it's a new avenue. Yep. JB says G rocked, V sucked. Yep, it's V was actually alright, although I didn't watch the anime itself also. But I think what they've done with the V series, right, was actually alright. It's a good way to kind of rebalance the game and get back to the roots, which is what they are doing with Overdress currently right now. But I think what they are looking to succeed in Overdress, where they failed in the V series, is making sure that the game is rebalanced. So the whole 24 clans into 5 nations was like a huge step towards that direction. So.
Okay, my thoughts about it, V as a whole, is honestly, I feel that it was a very big step backwards, because you see, if you are printing cards, like essentially reprinting cards and eliminating everything that was there before. That alone as it is, it's a bad move. Like, at least as a card player sense, this is how a lot of people end up with archives for a good 5 years run at the time, or 7 years at the run, and end up being completely obsolete. And it's already bad enough as it is, that a lot of cards are already obsolete as it is. And then suddenly you get this entire reboot, and cards are just getting replaced left, right, and center. And it's not like all of them had a proper treatment. It's very obvious favoritism to some of the cards, and it hurts. It really hurts. And as for the anime itself, it's good because they follow up with the manga instead. And honestly, I like that because I really like the manga itself as it is, but the problem is some of the things also didn't really follow through because of how imaginary gift is introduced into the manga, because it was not there before, and then suddenly when they put it in, some of the things has to change, which I was kind of upset. I was a little sad about it.
They actually followed the manga until the zombie Psycholia arc, and then after that they just did their own thing already.
Because the zombie Psycholia arc and the manga, they never even finished writing the manga, I think.
Yeah,
it wasn't even finished. Like, I think it's
the manga here.
They stop somewhere in the Cycloner Zombie, somewhere in the middle, and then after that they just never talk about it ever again.
But,
So yeah.
But in terms of V, I think everybody has a lot more ties to V series through the anime than through the gameplay itself. So yeah, that's the
Still
manga.
fresh in the pack, haven't opened yet.
Fresh in the pack. So
This one comes
remember-
with Daytonics Drew Dragon. Do you want it, Cat?
only if you open it.
He has
so.
a playset of
Only if
he
you
has a
open it.
playset of it anyway, so
Oh,
yeah,
is it the
anyway,
one?
So
yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
So it's like, and plus, right, because there's so much to keep out, they only selectively choose some cards for the reprint, and it's a once a year thing, so they weren't able to cover everything, and some of the cards are not even like fully fleshed out. Some of them are kind of like just dropped and abandoned.
Yes.
That is true.
And some are just straight out bonkers. I mean, we are very familiar with the Luat incident.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
that
the
was-
Grid pull out from behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order
That was the, like I said, that was when it became very obvious that Vanguard has gone very downhill already. They're showing like lots of favoritism towards certain clans.
yeah.
Like they know they're gonna make money with it, and just kind of like.
They don't have to make money for you, but for us as players and as fans of the game as well, like in order to show love, we gotta be able to criticize their lowest points also. And definitely V series went downhill after a while. I enjoyed the start of V when it was announced. The music right now playing is the Hawaii music from the Vanguard series. It's the one where Cowboy daydreams about anime. Yeah.
That one, yeah.
It is. I wish I could stream it.
I enjoy the reverse fighter and card better than the Cycloner Zombie. What's your opinion and thoughts on that? Okay. Since I'm already talking about it, so I must have just fire the shot.
Yeah, sure.
So okay, for me personally, I like the idea of the reverse fighter and the cards that came out for the entire arc, but it's just that I didn't like the approach of it, and some of the cards are, I mean, they were trying stuff, so the first few reverse cards were absolutely worthless. I tried it, I played it, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then closer towards the end, it became even more reliant than the base, and that's even worse somehow. It somehow just went downhill. The only best thing that really came out of it was aside from Armor, Reverse Recreate, and obviously the Reverse Dying Shot. That's the only thing that I had the best thing out of it. I didn't like Rebirth. I hate Rebirth so much. It was such a cop blocking card that it's like you go up against Glendios, I am dead.
I know, right? Hey, you wanna know what's worse than Rebirth? No reverse at all in your clan.
I know, right?
Instead, you got a really crappy Battle Sisters deck.
That is like,
Consider yourself
that is
lucky,
like-
so consider yourself lucky on that
Yeah,
front.
that's like,
guess.
you're completely spared. You're completely spared from
I
the
guess so,
horror.
lah. Can you imagine a Fromage reverse? Oh god.
I can, but at the same time, it probably really boils down to design issues. And some of the cards just came out really, really good. As for the Cycloner Zombie, it's kind of niche. It's basically you already expect it, sort of thing, and it nothing surprises you from this point. You're just like, okay. The only thing that was fresh out of the entire thing was that Aichi got it became the Cycloner Zombie itself, which didn't happen in the anime.
It didn't happen in manga.
Because,
It didn't happen. No, it both. It happened. It happened both in the anime and manga.
Right, in the anime and manga it happened. I'm talking about like during the reverse arc. Aichi
reverse,
was supposed to be reverse because it was kind of like it was the parallel.
Yeah.
Because technically these two are two different universes of Vanguard.
Mm.
It's like Pokemon Ruby Sapphire and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah, two different timelines. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same time. It's the same timeline. Two parallel worlds. Yeah. That was also what I was explaining Pokemon, but yeah.
Alright, we'll get to your questions in time as well. We got a lot to catch up in terms of comments as well. Haruki says the reboot started great, but once every clan was able to get multiple gift markers, things began to go downhill to too much power creep. I'm actually with Haruki on this one because I did feel that once like units were able to pardon my French, shit out a lot of markers for whatever reason whatsoever, right? The game suddenly became convoluted, and it lines up to what Dem said about when the G generation actually came into V series. I think that's where it really started to. That's where it started ramping up in terms of like, you're getting a lot of markers. The power creeping was really prominent there. So.
Correct.
Yeah. Adi says the best G anime in my opinion was Strike Gate, G Next, and GZ. I also like those seasons as well. I think out of the three, I think Strike Gate would be one of my more favorite ones as well. What do you guys think?
I don't remember the name of those, to be honest.
The seasons are. Yeah, it's been a while since we looked at
remember which episode the beach episode was in? Remember which season the beach episode was in? I don't remember. I don't remember is G. There were two. Cool. Let's move on. That's all. Oh, I think one of them was Next. Next and Gears Crisis, I think. Can't remember. By the way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so let's move on. So Uzka says the character development for Go Paladin user was good. Yes, Tayo was actually his character development was really good. So especially in the first season, the way that they portrayed him. So it really like it is the great fall to what Chrono was going through. So which is nice. JP says all of G plots and cards are basically for money. Dab, he says. Yeah, I mean the anime itself was a marketing tool to push for the new cards. So I think there's a number of popular anime that does that for the card games. I think Yu-Gi-Oh also does that as well, right? Yeah.
Quite a bit, but it's not to a extent. But at the same time, they're not really. You can't really say they're 100% promoting because the cards that show on TV end up different. So in a way, they are like kind of like no spoilers, you know. Yep. But Vanguard is definitely relying very heavily on its anime to market its cards.
Yes.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't really care. They just did what they did, and then this card is gonna show up in the anime, but it's gonna come out very different. So either way, you're not being spoiled by the skills. You cannot predict the meta. You cannot predict what is to come. And there's a lot of underdog cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that tends to show up because like common cards from I think recently there was an incident where a card was at least 20 years old. I think at least 20 years old, suddenly resurfaced and became meta. It was a spell card that nobody played, and then because somehow somewhere somebody discovered that I can break the game with this shit, and then he just went on. He just went on.
Legit, yeah. I think I heard of that one before.
Yeah.
That
story actually is quite prominent in Yu-Gi-Oh meta. So. That's just kind of the way that it works also. But in terms of like the anime actually kind of like marketing the game itself, we might see less of that now with Overdress. I will come back to that question at a later time. We got a lot of comments to actually go through, you guys. Thank you guys so much for actually commenting. I appreciate you guys for it. Andrew says I enjoyed the story of G up to Luwat came to be. Luwat was actually alright at the start, but once they came out with Dragfall, I think that was problematic already. So it's the third Luwat that came out. So
Dragfall.
Yeah, I think that one was what became problematic from there. So, Uka said they did not focus on just the characters in season 1 of G. The fights were not even focused on the cards and abilities. And when I dig when people use card skills and not just scream and the fight ends. So, at the start it was rough, but they did get better after like episode 9. So, I did watch the anime of G at the start, but I dropped off at like episode 9. But once Leon told me, the anime's gotten much better, then I went back and retroactively watched all the stuff, and it got a lot better. So,
correct.
Yeah, it does get a lot better because I think they need to do criticism. So
it started like this, then it went up a bit, and then
it went deep down, but it slowly caught back up. It slowly caught back up. So that was G for you. That was G, I think, for a lot of people. So I can resonate with that as well. Andrew says that my favorite memory of G was beating Shiranui Rene with Glendios. That would be a good matchup to see actually. So Dominate versus Omega Lock. Have to ask JJ because in terms of Shiranui Rene, we're gonna have to look around and see who still has it. But we know that JJ still has Glendios for sure.
Yes.
Alright, Brain says sub Leon to you by the way. So Brain says V series was okay. I got C cards that were in original series like Brandt, Exculpate, Novell, Gust Blasters, and many more. Yeah, they did bring back a lot of the old units that were forgotten, which is kind of nice because it adds quite a touch of nostalgia to old players like myself and Leon, so have been playing since near the start. Yep, Glendios coming to Vanguard 0. Can't wait. Yes, he is coming into Vanguard 0. After the Zombies arc, there is no manga, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they stopped after the zombie arc, as you guys were talking about.
I don't even think he finished it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the manga. I can open it up right now and take a look myself. Wait, let me check. You guys carry on.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
mind me.
So, Aris, we already answered Aris's question. Adis says my biggest hope for Overdress is to show players being card players at times, like actually deck building and opening packs. Not all the time, but a few scenes would be cool. Yeah, actually, I think that's something that's a miss. I think it's not been done before because they focus more on the drama of the fight. But seeing the drama of deck building and opening packs actually is something that is worthwhile to see. It can also add quite a bit of story to a thing, like especially if you make a character that, like, oh, this is the most unlucky character in this series, like you can give him scenes of him opening packs, and even though it's like the last one and nobody has put the VR, he just opens it up and it's still not the VR. Like it adds a lot of character to it also. So yeah, I can agree with others saying that we could see scenes, stuff like that also.
Unless your battle spirits where you don't take out your deck, you take out guns.
That is true. That is much different. So.
Those who probably not know, Battle Spirits recently released a new series called Garnet's Revolution, and they're kind of going well. Even though you only has 4 episodes, they release 1 episode like once every few months. And then it's like I just watched episode 4 today. It was out for a while, and the one of the main characters, or one of the two main characters, but he's not the main. He's kind of like the Kai, and but he's not really. He decided to take the world by force, so he gonna go to war. So he's like, battle spirits cannot solve our problems, so guns will. This game was what's happening. So
Hold on. What was the latest issue in Vanguard? The Vanguard manga again?
I don't remember.
You're gonna have to look it up.
The latest I have is at issue 10. And the last page is literally Misaki losing the fight to zombie IG.
Oh yeah. They didn't know what this.
And after that, no.
Yeah, after that, else.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay, Kusanagi asks, okay, I'm not exactly well versed in the metagame. What happened with Luad? In V series, Luad broke the glass ceiling and reset it to a higher standard. At the time, right, a lot of
sorry, hang on. Yeah, sorry, correction. It didn't broke the glass ceiling. It broke the atmosphere straight into space.
I didn't say how high the original glass ceiling was, but what I did mean is that he reset the glass ceiling on a higher standard, meaning that if you were looking into the Vanguard V series, the meta at the time, you would see that Luad is actually topping a lot of it because of how efficient the ritual style of play is, and not to mention being able to continuously get between drag wizard and drag driver Luad out into play so easily. It kind of like it created a new set of meta which was problematic for competitive Vanguard for quite some time. So
correction, not what was the word you said about Luad again? Consistent?
Consistent? No.
What do you say again?
I forgot what I said.
Okay, never mind. It is not whatever you said. It's broken.
Yeah.
It was sure broken.
Yeah,
it was pure broken.
Even on
to simply, sorry, just to simply put it, basically Luad was so consistent, so self-sustaining that there was just basically no way to stop it. It could do everything and whatever, and not be hindered unless you somehow lock him up. You could use lock against him.
It could. Yeah, it could be. What's that? I lost my train of thoughts. but here's the thing. If you guys were wondering why we didn't put up Luad on CVGS, a fight video with Luad, that's because we couldn't. Every deck that we put it up against, right, it immediately took control, and then it didn't. Yeah, it just steamrolled over all the decks that we put it against. We had to literally wait for the next set to do it, and by then the person that actually has the Luad deck did the dumb.
Sold the deck.
He sold the deck. So we can't get Luad on the show because of that action. So yeah, so that's the only reason. But that goes to show, like, even on a casual level, right, Luad was problematic. Even on a casual level, Luad was super problematic. So in summary, that's what happened with Luad and what caused like V series to really go like sort of downhill.
Downhill.
From there. So JP Taste says the creators were so invested in Luad and not other clans. So that's the infamous Luad. Also, that's the that's what was the line from WandaVision? That's an oversimplification of events, but yes, that's what happened. That's what happened. So yeah.
Yeah.
Brain says Psycholia zombies were meh, reverse fighters, yes please. I actually like the concept
I
of the
actually
reverse
agree, yeah.
fighters, yeah. I like the concept of the reverse fighters a lot. So Andrew says, to be honest, I love Glendios. Unlike Open the Way Gate from Hearthstone, it's really risky to actually pull off his Limit Break 5. So yes,
Yeah.
Glendios still has the high risk, high reward. And I think up to now, it's one of the few that has a high risk, high reward style of play. So we've not a
That's
lot
why
of...
people shifted. That's why people shifted to the drop critical build. Let's go beat down. No bother with me. If I just
Yes.
go.
Yeah. Like Daiki's deck, for instance, was made for ultimate beatdown. Like you're not supposed to world end someone with his deck, but I did it anyway. Yeah. that was my first and only memory with Glendios. I borrowed his deck to play against one of my friends, and just instantly, mind you, he was playing Chrono Jet Dragon. I instantly world ended him. Daiki, I want him. Huh?
Right.
This
Adis adds on to Luat saying that Luat was extremely high value deck, most pluses without any problems. Yes, that's the summary of what we were talking about it. Hoping Aris says hoping we don't get power creep in Overdress. We have yet to see what the second. We're all praying for it.
Fight it.
We're all praying to our various gods that will not be the case. So, but we have to see come the second BT. Once the second BT shows itself, then we'll definitely see whether if that's going to be the case or so. Right, Andrew says, and he was fun for me. Talking about Glendios, he was fun for me because I enjoyed being at the edge of my seat when I was on 4 damage and my opponent was sweating as to whether he should attack me in hopes of a crit and that I won't heal. So yeah, that's Glendios for you. Haruki says, when G Guardians were first introduced to all clans, that was my favorite time in G because it was the first time we had skills that added more interactions during opponent's turn. I can actually see that.
Actually,
we have no problems with G Guardians. We only had a problem with how they were introduced.
How it was introduced, yes. But the whole G Guardian concept was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I do like that. Even during your opponent's turn, you can do something.
Absolutely.
Unless you're Kagero and Naruto. That's the shit on it.
Exactly. Like it gives them something to do.
Correct. So, alright. Aris asks, what are your thoughts on Cardfight Vanguard Shinimon, the V series arc? I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch that.
I didn't watch it. Unfortunately, we didn't watch it. But okay. In terms of like that era, Shinimon era, Debs, what did you think of the Astro Poet mechanic for Genesis?
Okay, Astro Poet, right? I have to say it's too much of a one-off thing because as of now, right, the Astro Poets only had a grand total of 2 cards that unlock the Astro Plane for you, and a total of 1 card that you can put on the Astro Plane. So to be honest, right, while it is an interesting concept, they didn't really do a whole lot with it. And it just kind of became a wasted opportunity. That on top of the fact that it came after the G era? No, before the G era. The G era, the G generation of Vanguard, the V series.
Yeah.
Even then, that was the introduction to getting multiple force markers in a single turn. And even with the introduction of Force 2, which why would you play that in an Astro Poet deck anyway? It kind of gave like your opponent the fixed thought of, okay, Vanguard is way too big. I gotta PG it. They can survive 4 turns straight. But pretty much that's basically it was a very wasted potential in my opinion. Yeah.
And Andrew chimes in by saying that he loved the Shinimon arc. I can't speak for the anime itself, but I can speak for the gameplay itself. And I did pay attention to the card releases that were coming out for the other clans during that era. And I did like what they done with Great Nature. Like, Great Nature being the mill mechanic, and then depending on what the card it milled, you activate 1 or 2 effects. And then being able to activate both effects if you have the right Vanguard in play. That actually adds a lot more to Great Nature. I used to play Great Nature back in the G era for a short while, and it was fun to play as Big Belly. Like, Big Belly can really do a lot of things, especially with success. Especially with success.
Let's face it, like the Shinimon arc, right? People don't watch it for Shinimon. People don't watch it for Team Nippon. They watch it for Eska.
Yes.
People watching for Ezra, and she delivered.
Okay,
I
just
know,
for my little insight on that. Okay, because since I didn't watch it, but I still keep in track with the whole thing, lah. But I honestly didn't like it. Not because the story side, just nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Nothing absolutely makes sense for me because this is supposed to take place way before everybody else.
Yep.
And somehow, on multiple occasions, just so many loopholes,
Plot holes.
for Vanguard to a point that it hurts. Like, it was really bad when they first kind of like, talk about it in G, about how Chrono's father and Shin, they were on the same team fun times, and then you're like, wait, isn't that stadium like, wait, didn't they only have G units like only recently? Then why? Then doesn't that mean
Yeah,
the first season of Vanguard supposed to have?
totally. So.
I thought the gear system was only introduced like this year. When this came out, then you have Valkyrion, and then you have then you have the Vanquisher set. Then are you telling me that the deck basically degressed over time? So they were not made it's like they're made to advance the game mechanic. Okay, sure, but the problem is because the whole thing was central around the entire storyboard, so they had no choice but to make a whole new bunch of cards for that, and then suddenly everything else in the future suddenly looks like shit.
I agree.
Okay, I get it. It's children's anime, so to speak, but consistency, people,
Don't have that.
Yeah. Even in the kids,
continuity.
there needs to be consistency. Yeah, absolutely. So, Daddy comes in saying 22 days left until Overdress deck comes out. Yes, we are anticipating the 22 days right now. So, Andrew says Renee can't work on Glendios that well because of the lock clause. I actually forgot about the lock clause also, but we'll look into the deep intricacies of it at some time. So, Brain says that many players say that G series is like Buddy Fight since the main character never loses. Chrono has lost.
Yes.
Only because the plot demands it.
But only because the plot demands it, unfortunately.
But
So,
to be honest, right, let's face it, protagonist in Body Fight is a lot worse when it comes to protagonist armor than Chrono ever will be.
in fact,
And we have a clear case of amnesia also. Hey, look at Gao saying the same damn thing to every single buddy of his. You're the best buddy ever, and then the rest are like, "Am I a joke to you?"
like a combination of Buddy Fight and Chrono as well. I think that was the basis of protagonitis.
Yes.
That's the basis
And
of protagonitis.
And the people around it, yes.
It didn't help at the point that Stand Triggers is actually, despite all the amazing skill they had, but it was easy to write a story around get for critical treatment.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody was just essentially playing 12 crits, man. It doesn't matter who you are, 12 crits.
True.
It's okay.
True. Yeah.
I don't think I have ever seen a single Stand Trigger in the entirety of G.
No, we are the only ones that playing stand
yeah.
triggers. Only we were playing stand triggers because
No,
we saw
no,
value
I know
in the
that-
stand triggers. So.
No. The thing is that in the meta, right? Even at the time when you guys stopped going to tournaments, I was still actively looking around. There is actually a lot of builds that plays the stand triggers because they were that good and they were the basis, and that's why they had to remove stand triggers in V. That was the reason why they had to do it, because V was going up in power. So if you have stand triggers, right, nobody's playing crit anymore. Nobody. That's why there was front.
Everybody to Ghetto. Yeah.
And front triggers, right, was exclusively to Excel clans. So if you are Excel clan and you play front triggers, I'm dead. There's no game. Just death.
Exactly.
He's just deaf. That's true. So, right. Brain says that Shinmon was okay. I got to see Ganzaki before he was a clan leader. Yep, that is true. Andrew says that he was running an 8 draw, 4 heal, and 4 lock crits. So, yeah. I mean, 8 draw makes sense because you're fishing for your reverse units for the Omega lock. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually common for Glendios even back in the day as well. So. He did love the Shinimon arc, so if there is a hint of whether if it's nice or not, you got one fan right there. Brain says G5 was such a waste other than G5 with Valkyrion. There wasn't any other G5 but
There was
Valkyrion.
no other than Valkyrion.
It was like Novelvic. And then
correct. So, JB says, hi chat, rip Miguel, my man, rip Miguel.
Because for 2 episodes and dies.
Yeah.
It was at that time when Miguel died, right? It's like I finally learned something about storytelling in the fact that if a character dies, right, it actually is part of the story and it's supposed to be like a vehicle for a character to move forward to. In this case, Miguel dying was Tokoha's go forward, or rather like her way of getting back into the Vanguard.
I still find it really stupid though. You met this stranger you have never seen before for a grand total of 48 hours. You fell in love with him at first sight. You're supposed to eat ice cream with him, and he died in a horrendous car crash, and you'll never do that. You'll never be able to do that again. You are so sad. Therefore, you play Vanguard. I guess. I mean,
that's,
why not?
That's the way the world works, man. That's the way the world works.
That's an oversimplification of things like this.
No, that's just Disney. That's just Disney. It's just Disney.
Let's not see this bushy road.
Because like it says, yeah,
Okay.
not gonna lie, I'm a Shinimon stan. I sim for Valkyrion, and yeah, they bite the deck fun times. Yeah, we did have some fun times with
It's
that
an
deck
okay
also.
deck. It is an okay deck. I'm not
It's
gonna
an
lie.
Okay,
It's quite fun.
as a deck, it's okay. I just didn't like what they did with Vanquisher and Scarlet and
Yeah, for you
all
guys,
the
it
other
was the.
I
boost.
didn't like what they did with Perfect Riser, my dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But I like what they did with Color Buster though.
Yeah, you got Gunner Buster. I got nothing. I got nothing. I had to go with cards that I'm not familiar with. I went back to Harry.
I think I'm the only one who benefit from this because of Susano.
Yeah. Yeah, go away.
Okay, to be fair, right, my decks went from need some micromanagement to straight up I don't need to brain anymore.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Mine went from it's the first Vanguard of the Grappler, but guess what? He's gonna be obsolete because of the hero decks. And then later, and then later, like Beast Deities, and then Victor, then back to Beast Deities again. So like, no love for Rises. No love for Rises.
Right. Yeah, Rises has always been there. Like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Every night I send out a warhole for the original Perfect Riser. So, anyways, and just says as G Guardians, I love them. I made a Mimi Genesis Witch Legion deck that was a wall,
Ooh.
and when that brought to a shop tournament, while my friend bought the newly introduced Blade Wings deck. I think I have that Genesis Witch Legion deck because I did play a Genesis Witch Legion deck, and it's actually pretty funny how it actually works. I think
there's actually a continuation to what Andrew said. There was part 2.
It was a Metapod versus Metapod battle when we were paired. Ratoon faced each other. My friend and I were enjoying how everyone was telling us to hurry the F up. So yeah, I mean, if you can stall the way
This is
it
why
is,
time limit.
this is why time limit was invented. So
No, time limit. This is why there are time limits in tournaments.
oh, time limit. So yeah, true. Eric says hopefully we'll get some Angel Feathers in Overdress. Hopefully, so yeah, we might see them. We definitely will see that in Canton Century. Maybe not the first one, but I definitely can see in the second one for sure. Brain says, sad I have to wait 2 months for Overdress products. I have to wait on May. Yes, English is releasing a month later, but you get all of them straight out at once, and you'll be able to see from us as well when we do go into Overdress ourselves as well, and just see what you can expect when your decks come out in May. So Brain says, I value stand triggers when I was stand trigger. Have you Knight of Craving Brian? I think there was a stand trigger for Go Party if I remember correctly, but I can't remember. So, have you heard of him? So, no, Knight of Craving Brian.
Knight of Craving Brian. Let's see.
We're gonna have to look it up. So, Aaron says that G5 Valkyrion in the anime doesn't make sense. Not a lot of things say
There we go.
that makes sense. So.
Wait, what? Oh, it's GTD10. It's the Shadow Paladin
Shadow Paladin.
stand trigger.
Oh.
Yeah, it basically doesn't do anything. He's got no skills.
That's true. G5, they make sense. JPT says, why was New Nectar in GZ so expensive? Because Asha was topping at the time, if I remember correctly. I think her value was very, very high for New Nectar at the time. So
I'm sure that wasn't the only reason why she was expensive.
yes, we also forgot the waifu text as well. So. Especially Fantastic Blue. I mean, she can only bloom support. Yes, yes, it is. But then Asha was actually very popular in terms of card designs. So yeah, some of that money is going to waifu decks.
Yep.
Yes.
Shadow Paladin in
Waifu,
Loat's trial deck. So yeah, I might have seen the card because I did remember the name Brian, but it didn't stick to me because I think we all moved on to the stand trigger that was given with Loat at the time. So
I was trying to process that they were probably talking about our Brian.
no, they weren't talking about our Brian because I know that we've taken the
Brian is not
card.
a knight.
That
Our
and
Brian's not a
also,
knight, and he doesn't crave money.
and also we were taunting Brian about this. See this, Brian? You see this? This is not you. Why are you not like this?
Why you scrub? Why you scrub?
Why you scrub? Why you not like this, Brian?
You're only half of what this card is, and that is your craving and your Brian. But you were never a knight.
And Asha became a shiny. Yeah, Asha became a shiny. So okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Shiny Asha. I like.
Okay, I asked this with them on the live stream on Tuesday on Twitch or so, but yeah, I'll ask this straight to Leon as well. Now since we have most of the starter decks, main decks, how would you guys rank Overdress starter decks best to worst on first impressions?
Oh no.
Actually,
Okay,
go
so
number 5 first.
are we talking about the decks alone, or are we just talking about the whole thing as a whole?
For first impression,
As a whole.
as a whole, for what you see, how would you rank the nations their start decks?
I don't like what I'm going up against.
Huh?
I don't like what I'm going up against.
No, it's just a general. It's just a general question.
No. Just putting out there. I don't like what I'm going up. Because right now, to be honest, everything on first impression that everything so far is my dearest. Dragon Empire seems to feel very lackluster at this moment because it's so reliant on the overdress mechanic, and I get it. That's kind of like what they're trying to push. So it's gonna be like the Blaster Blade thing all over again, and I don't really like it. It's gonna be Blaster Blade all over again. Everybody else is great. The impression so far of everything so far for everything that has showed up, amazing. Let's go. Dragon Empire. I don't recognize this, because there's a semblance for everybody. That's the thing. See, there's a semblance of every clan nation when they are they're rolled up into together, or for our Western viewers mixed up.
Yeah.
In a much more you can see semblance, but Dragon Empire, the only semblance I see is the Soul Blast to destroy one, and that's you need to be in overdress state for that to happen, and just
Yeah, I do get I do get what you mean. Like skill wise, mechanic wise, it's very lackluster. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
at least for Virina, which is one of the aces as well. But I will counter argue by saying that I think that's the main reason why Nirvana, the Great Tree, has the ability that if it has the overdress ability, they can give the power to it. So
but that's the thing. That's exactly the problem, because it's gonna be relying on that overdress keyword, but everybody else is either Final Rush is basically happening to the player, so you don't need to be in a specific setup for it. You just this turn you're on this Great Tree, you're dead. Great Keta, so long you try Great Tree, so it didn't matter whether are you on the next turn, so it can start right off the get-go. So it's the same for Stoicia, the same for Horny Jail. So long you already played the jail card, if you already played the order card, right, you can get started. And that's good. So you see, everybody here so far can go at this right at the get-go, while the Dragon Empire deck requires you a bit of searching and a bit of getting there before you are ready for it, that sort of thing. And I don't like that kind of playstyle, because you're not versatile. You are put in a position where you have no choice but to have this lineup, then you can do something about it. Otherwise, if you don't, somehow you don't get to have it, or you ran out of resources to bring your overdress card out of the prison, you're screwed. Then so what is my Great Tree gonna do now? It's basically out of all the Great Tree, is the only one that cannot self-sustain. It's not self-sustainable to the deck. That's why I am kind of
If we're comparing Overdress with with against the prism mechanic. So that's actually a topic that I was going to bring up later on as well. So, but yeah, in terms of that, right, I was checking out around the rulings, and apparently, right, while you do have to pay your resource in order to get those out, right, you can. In a different sort of thinking, right, you can treat them as like their retired cards or bound cards. So if you have the cards in your hand, you can actually go for there. So the fact that the Dragon Empire is dependent on it seems a little bit like a bit stuck. But I can also argue that even for the Prism mechanic, you're stuck with the Prism mechanic for Brandt Gate. You can't play any other way.
But that's besides the point. But because the thing is that Brandt Gate has a lot of cards that allows the mechanic to kick off. But for Overdress, it's a keyword. So only specific units has the keyword, and we already know who the specific unit is gonna be. And it's gonna be purely trickster in this area. But everybody else is more like a support cards. But of course, there's still a lot of things that needs to be not seen or reviewed so far. So it's really hard to say. But in terms of ranking wise, I definitely put Dragon Empire as last. First, I actually like quite a bit of the Keta. Deck is quite ballsy. I like it, so I put it at first. Second, followed up by Final Rush. Third being the Brandt Gate Final, and then Soysha.
So Keta, Dark States, Brandt Gate, Stoicheia, and Dragon Empire for Leon. So.
Yeah, because it's more towards my playstyle. If anything, right, those two decks at the front is more towards my actual playstyle. It's more aggressive.
Guys, do chime in with your 5 as well. Go ahead and rank your 5 and read them out as well. Dems.
Yep.
Yeah, how would you rank?
I think I said this yesterday. Yeah. So today I'll say it again. Number 5. What was it again? Oh yeah, number 5 Stoicheia. Number 4 is Keta Sanctuary. Number 3 is Dragon Empire. Number 2 Dark States, and number 1 Brandt Gate.
For me, I would rank number 5 as Keta Sanctuary. Keta Sanctuary would actually be my number 5. Number 4 would be what did I say yesterday? Number 4 would actually be Dragon Empire. Dragon Empire Overdress would be number 4. Number 3 would be Dark States. Number 2 would be Stoicheia, and number 1 would be the Prism Mechanic, Brandt Gate. Just on first impressions that way, but that's not to say that number 4 and number 5 are lackluster. They're actually pretty good, and I think, right, I have a hunch that there's going to be another set of Overdress cards in the start deck. It's not going to just be Trickstar and Virina. I think there's going to be another set. I have a hunch also. I have a hunch.
Hopefully. Because otherwise it's very difficult to make the deck work. And from experience of start deck, right, no matter what they do with the format, usually for this kind of stuff they wouldn't give you 2 of it, and because it will break the game.
That is true. So Kaio just came in. Hello, my jammers. What I missed? You missed 1.5 hours of us talking about 10th anniversary and the horny jail and everything. So True. Yeah. So we can talk about the order zone now, because now it's been officially confirmed by Bushiroad that there is the order zone. So yeah. So that is our top 5s. Brain has actually chimed in. Ranking from the start decks: 5 is Dark States, 4 is Dragon Empire, 3 is Keta, 2 Stoicheia, and number 1 Brandt Gate. But I think a lot of people would say Brandt Gate because of recency bias. I admit part of the reason why I put Brandt Gate on top is because of recency bias. But in terms of, I look at it from multiple aspects. One of it includes the hilarity of it. So some of the jokes that I have made in the previous recap videos kind of like stick into that. So that's why Stoicheia and that one is on top. So
you know my reason why Brandt Gate is my highest. So
obviously,
let's move on.
You're saying that?
Yeah, I think compared to the 2 of you, right, I spoke it all out with absolutely no bias, and then there's the 2 of you. What the hell, guys?
I mean, I tried. I did try to be as unbiased aside.
Jokes aside, right? I mean, personally, in my opinion, Brandt Gate still has the most interesting mechanic, and it's really something that I like to try out. Everything else has been seen before, or it's very simple to understand. But Brandt Gate is something that is unique, very very unique. So I am interested.
But
of course, that's the same after a few boosts lah. So I think in about a few months, if we ask the same question again, right, I have a feeling that our opinions will be very different from what we have now.
Yeah, if you ask us like on different days, I think our opinions will change also. Especially since we would see what the decks can actually do. Then from there, we can actually give you a more definitive list as to which start deck is there, so which start deck is in where. So, yeah. So you guys already talked about Keita Mori tweet about the TD's bosses, not on YouTube. He did tweet out saying that the concept of the start decks goes beyond being simply a entry product. They do their direction going forward, right, is that they plan to have most, if hopefully all, of the main cards in the start deck, right, actually be staples for months to come. So that is something that I applaud for, because I really do want to see I do want to see like this cool mechanics from Nirvana all the way to Sarah Snow. I like to see these mechanics actually being staples for a significant amount of time. So when it comes to the BT, right, I hope that it's alternative plays and not outright replacements for the cards itself that comes out in the BT. So hopefully we get to see those in the releases for next week's reviews also, and hopefully the full BT even as well.
Then surely you to be expect that the Brandt Gate would definitely have cards that let them search specific order cards rather than just being there, because the whole deck relies on that mechanic. So if as it is, the Dragon Empire already has cards to retrieve overdressed units from the trash, drop zone, and stuff like that, then the same can be expected from the Brandt Gate, because that is literally their way of life. As Cap says, that's literally the mechanic. If they don't have it, they'll lose. So it would have been basically the whole deck just shuts down itself.
Yeah.
So,
but
this also kind of like forces the idea that we will eventually encounter cards that can destroy order cards on the field.
Yes, we were talking about it earlier. Yeah,
it cannot be avoided. It cannot be avoided. It's gonna happen eventually at some point.
Dragon Empire definitely gonna get it. So
Dragon Empire's gonna, or one way or another, is gonna get a disruption.
Yep. Indeed, so we definitely will see new plays, and we definitely will see new order cards as well, and definitely, as I said, like alternative plays to the nations itself instead of outright replacements. You're still gonna get your boost for the mechanics that you see in the start deck, but you also will have the option to play a different style with the other subset of cards that we talked about earlier in the stream. So if there's gonna be a whole subset of cards, right, there's gonna be playing a different style. Like, you know, instead of like the overdress mechanic for Dragon Empire, the second set will probably be more towards maybe a more Kagero style play, maybe more towards Narukami or Murakumo and all that. So that's something that we hope to see in the BT when it comes out, so when the cards get finally announced. So
yeah.
Okay, Kusanagi says that I know they'll arrive eventually, but kind of frustrated that we haven't seen any Arco Force units in stock here yet, just like Great Nature and I think Grand Blue units. Just wait a while. Just be patient, Kusanagi. Here we go. Andrew C. I do hope in Overdress we'll get a high risk, high reward style play. In V, no deck gave that feeling, sadly. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, actually, a lot of V series decks felt safe. It didn't feel like high risk, high reward. So.
No.
Not really.
Not really.
I'm saying not a lot.
Really.
I'm saying not a lot.
No, actually, there's still quite a lot of them like that. It's just that they are not prominent because they are kind of like the underdog decks, and surprisingly, some of these things that people don't usually take out and play.
Actually, now that I think about it, right, I think we had that match with who was playing. There's somebody that was playing Asha's token deck. Yeah, that would be one such deck that I would say is high risk, high reward also, because if you are unable to generate the plant tokens, you actually cannot do a lot of things. So
actually the same goes for the Magus deck. The Magus deck is also high risk, high reward, except that it's not as prominent because nobody plays it, to be honest. When people think OTT, right, they either think the first Imperial Daughter or Susano. Magus is it's very different from what it used to be in the G era, and it's not as sustainable as the other builds. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
For me, based on my combat experience, right, easily the cross may not look it, but it's on the list definitely. The deck itself is so high risk, high reward to a point that you really had to go into the cross as soon as possible. You go into the end first, and it's probably the end of you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And plus, and if you start drawing the ends, right, you had to somehow find a way to cycle it back. In premium, it's not so bad. In standard, it's all kinds of that because you only have maybe 1 or 2 cards that can set things back. But then you need to get it first. And the deck itself, on most days, right, you have no back support. The only thing that is just you and the Vanguard. And if you don't high roll enough and kill the guy at the start of the first couple of turns, right, chances are you lose out at the end. Gauntlet Buster is also one of those decks that is also high risk, high reward. Because there is no pluses. There's only equal. There is only what I play out and what I get back. Vanquisher needs consistent binding and return, which I've after playing it more recently, if you cannot keep out that constant 4-turn bind, right, and at the start of the turn, nobody will give you that kind of bind. People will try to avoid it, and you probably may not even be able to get to that. And you need to do the full Bronto thing to go in out, just so that you beat the marker, but you're not getting pluses either. It's also once again the equivalent exchange. So yeah. So there is actually a lot of this content that's running around, actually.
Leon and the Kaiser chimes in saying nice Kabuto cosplay in the background.
Yeah,
Kabuto in the background for Leon. So.
Yeah, but fun fact, I have not worn this costume since I had it.
No.
I have not had a chance to wear it because COVID hit the moment I got it. So yeah.
That is true. So, okay. JP says that what do you do to sustain yourself to the boosters? Our jobs, if that's the right question. But in terms of like Bushido, right, they gotta make sure that not only are they boosting the cards while respecting the grade 3 in there, in the start decks rather, I think that what they should do is provide alternate plays and not outright replacements. So like all 2, maybe 3 even different styles of play coming from the BT and from the start deck as well. So there's like in one nation, right, there's 3 different styles of play once the BT drops, 2 to 3. That's what they can do to kind of make sure that what you call it, the how they can actually sustain the game through the boosters in that regard. So
yeah,
right. Tam Kun says, I do not know which SD in Overdress is good or bad. I just order all them all. Good man. Support. Support. Kusanagi says that from 5 to 1, Captain Sentry, Stoicheia, Brandt Gate, Dark States, and Dragon Empire is his list. Brain says, I hope DOVA-Fight and Solemn Vanguard do a fight with Brandt and Stoicheia. Watch us do a fight with Brandt and Stoicheia, because that's definitely going to be coming to the channel one of these days for sure. Once it all comes out.
Talk about something else. They're talking about that little
that beef that they have, right? Yeah, the beef that they have. So yeah. Absolutely. So, Haruki says that we've seen that kind of concept in early G. Most of the trial decks are like Chrono Jet, Altmar, and pretty much any trial deck units stay relevant for a while because they were your main strike targets. Yes, they were your main strike targets, which they were started to do with G. But the problem is that they came out with other strike units, upgrades, Chrono Jet, Dragon, G, the other Altmar and Asha as well. Like eventually they went into the keywords thing where now your Vanguard, now your second generation of these units, right, no longer become staples because they need to support the new keyword that's coming out. So yeah, we've seen the concept, but the reason why that failed is because they were introducing mechanics midway through like entire boost. Although the boosting was correct, but at the same time, it's like they're trying to create these new grade 3s, these new strides to cater to the new mechanic that they just come up with. So, yeah. Kaiwa says next week's stream is Stoicheia Bolt Shinimon build. Yes, we'll be seeing the Bolt guy is a build, the Grand Blue Necromancer build. Andrew says that the subset of different play styles was already confirmed with who the Grand Blue looking cards and the Star Vader looking cards were shown. Yes, because there's only 5 nations, you can't expect there's only be 5 characters. The other characters in there are going to be playing one of the 5 nations, and they do need to play different things. They can't be playing the same things that your promoted characters are playing. So that's the part of it. So, and you see the high risk, high reward, I meant similar to Glendios, not like the cross. Okay, yep. Glendios wasn't high risk, high reward, and the Kaiser says he was second win con deck or so. Yeah. Lucen 11, welcome to the stream. Is there anybody who has predictions about the skill for the Captain Sentry's order? It could be a set order card that gives grade 3's guardian capabilities. But it could be something else also. It could be something else entirely. We're uncertain what it is just yet.
But since he's talking about a prediction, I can safely say that the order cards definitely will play something along the line of grade 3 retrieval back to deck, and then you draw to help make back up. Because you see, the deck main mechanic is still trying to track your grade 3s so that you can resend stuff. So you definitely want those things back in the deck. And Royal Paladin or any other Paladin so far doesn't have a lot of this kind of mechanics.
Yeah,
So this is so if anything, this would have to be one of the more important mechanics to have for it to at least sustain itself.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, if you end up running a great cheat at the start of the game, then you're essentially dead, and the whole mechanic just kills itself. Yeah.
Correct. So, what do you think, Dems?
Yeah, same sentiment as Leon.
I would say that if it's not a set order card, right, that gives shielding to plus grade 3, because I think that's something that could be saved for the BT. I think what it will do is instead of like sending cards to the bottom of the deck, which is quite actually good, it might be in the start deck. I think what they could do is that for this turn, all of your grade 3s get plus 5k. So it's an increased power on top of what Bastion can give as well. So that's also another possibility that could happen as well. So we'll have to see. Hopefully the card will be revealed soon. Eric says, kind of annoyed we didn't see Gear Chronicle in Dark States. And we did see Age of Feathers or Catcher Sanctuary. We will see them all soon. So again, you just need to be patient to see those. All of them will not be represented in the start deck. Safe to say. But except for the part where it says Gear Chronicle Dark States, they did reveal the Grade 3. They did reveal the Gear Colossus for Dark States already, so the card is out there somewhere, so I'm gonna have to search it out. But yeah, it is been announced as a Gear Colossus in the start deck. So Tamkun says maybe it's about the Grade 3. Yep, possibly. Yeah, so we're talking about the Keter's order. And then Kaiser says, I think future support might be new rearguard decks, which get skills locked to certain bosses, so that they won't flat out replace the grade 3 bosses with each new set. That's also a possibility as well, because now that I think about it, right, there is a possibility that the two grade 3s, the two triple Rs for each nation, right, might be two different decks. Might be another two different styles of play. Because Nirvana, Sarah Snow, because all the start ones I consider the grade 3s of the start decks also. So having that one style of play in there already it could open the door to the other triple Rs being other styles of play. And then the grade 2s, then the double Rs and the Rs are all going to be supporting separately for each of the different builds also. So it is a possibility we could see two totally different triple Rs.
So you can, at least the cards will probably be made at this point. They'll be generic enough for you to interchange. So you have a flexibility of build.
Correct.
At least that's what I see that's coming.
If not this BT, then definitely the next, or even the special series as well. The special series can totally include something like that. Right? Haruki says that almost every standard deck felt high risk, high reward. Most decks only ran 4 grade 3s, so that wasn't like old Vanguard, like where you had 8 good right targets or so. Every game you were begging to draw grade 3. Yes, with the right deck right now, right, if you play exclusively in Overdress, right, you do have access to the right deck mechanic, and that guarantees that you have the guaranteed grade 3 that you want to ride up to, your ace. And then especially if you want to keep that as just the ace, right, you can totally play like just the 4 grade 3s or even just the 1 grade 3 if you're ballsy enough, and just have everything else be support to that. But it depends on the deck also. I don't think you want to do that in Keter Sanctuary. Alright, we got cards, yes, we know what you mean. And Kaiser, sorry, what I meant is that, okay. Andrew said, I love the deck along with my Genesis Wall deck, and even though I enjoy V, decks like Harry, Pure Shiryuki, Vanquisher, they were comfy. Not tense filled like Glendios or as meme as my Genesis Wall is. So there are 3 different kinds of players. If I got maybe more than that also, but the 3 that I brought down to is your competitive player, your casual player, and your meme players. I think we got the 3 right here, right there. The meme one, the competitive one, and the casual one right there. So
basically that's
true. That's true. That's very true.
That's very true. So Haruki says, I'm thinking one triple R going to support the start deck, and the other triple R is going to be different build for each nation. That is possible. I think that might be what is happening for Dragon Empire. But for the others, right, it can be alternate. There can be other alternate grade 3s for alternate plays. So it's a different style of playing the nation.
Yep.
There is a possibility as well.
Okay. GSS would be a waste instead of now. Okay, depends actually. I mean, there is a right deck, but no, GSS I don't think it's a thing anymore because you already have a right deck. That's one thing, and then plus, you still have your normal mulligan. You still have an option to write from hand. So,
I think G assist won't even be a thing in Overdress anymore if you're talking about D standard.
Yeah.
For P standard and V standard, there is no such thing as right decks, so you still have to G assist anyway.
Correct.
Yeah.
The G assist is still in the V standard and the P standard, so they're not gonna go away yet. But for now, the right deck is gonna be exclusive to the current standard, which is Overdress. So
Correct.
until it becomes safe for them to put the right deck in premium, we will not see the right deck in the other formats as of now.
and I don't think that should happen. At no point that it should. No, maybe until at least D format comes to an end.
Yeah, maybe
Because the
until
deck,
goes in, yeah,
in
correct.
D, because the cards in D are too reliant on the right decks. You can see that from the design itself.
Yeah,
They will actually suffer if they go into premium as what they are
correct.
because they're so reliant on their system.
Totally.
Keta.
Yeah, Keita really needs it.
Kita one.
Because they only have 4 grade 2s. Aries says that Apex Ruler Bastion looks a bit like Shadow Paladin and Royal Paladin wrapped into one. Yep.
Like the light and dark, you know?
Yeah.
Blaster Blade, Blaster Dark. Whoop.
Also a hint of Jack Frost in there. Because of the
No
stars.
lah, I think that's just you. That's just you.
Yeah, I still want to put it in there. That's my imagination running wild. So, Kyle says, I'm just thinking how Lyrical Monasterio can make different builds when all we have is Morbid Idols. We need other music styles. If
I want a death metal.
baby metal.
No, Lady Beard.
Screamo,
Lady Beard.
Screamo about wanting to eat chocolate ice cream.
Just give me chocolate also. No, if you look at Bermuda Triangle on its own right now, you've got Duo, you've got Coral, you've got Riviere, you got Olivia. You already have a lot of styles of play in Bermuda Triangle on its own, which is why it's getting its own nation, so to speak. So to see different builds in Lyrical Monasterio, that is, without a shadow of a doubt, that's going to be a thing. So that's definitely going to be a thing.
Yeah.
So other music styles can be in play. You can focus on. You can play similar to what Bang Dream does. Actually, there might be song order cards in there. They might actually put song order cards in.
Yeah,
Lyrical
actually,
Monasterio.
I think so. Yeah, it's more like a test, you know, like the testing water for Lyrical Monasterio. In fact,
Yeah,
from what I see.
I can absolutely see that actually being possible. So, and then Kaiser says the only thing I'm expecting for now is none other than the old cards. None of the old cards will impact premium due to the lack of synergy. Brandt Gate, for example, doesn't work properly with either Nova Grappler, DP, or Link Joker. Yes, they are kind of limited to their style of play. We're probably gonna have to wait until the BT comes out before we actually see any sort of ideas on how to integrate the older cards with the Overdress stuff. So, but I will say this: it was pointed out earlier in the stream. Leon, you can put your 2 cents into this. Delete with Prison.
I thought about that the moment they announced the card before the discussion even happened.
Yeah.
It's a possibility, yes. I mean, I have thought about it.
Yeah, delete and Prison.
But I don't like it.
Because Sarah
I don't
Snow's
like it.
skill can actually work in the Regard Circle. So yeah.
Only one problem. You will want to play. You don't want to do that because it may sound good on paper, but when you actually put it into play, right? Chaos Breaker, Link Joker in general, you want to have things on the board to lock because the main mechanic that Link Joker is still at the end of the day is to limit and restrain your opponent from having anything else on the board. But the problem about the Brandt Gate deck is that you are just basically, as everyone who have noticed by now, it's just a retire/bind mechanic.
Yeah.
I can still replace my circles, and that's not a problem. It's just I can get things back, you know. That's not, which it's like a discounted retire. Like that, it's like you're not dead. I'm just putting you elsewhere. You're here, but you're not here.
Correct.
Problem but the things about lock is that you want it to be dead. You don't want it to go, and if you put things like that, you're contradicting yourself.
Someone did ask the idea of mixing Star Vaders with Sarah Snow, and I did tell them you have to choose which one you want to value more: removing your opponent's resources with the prison system, or using the lock mechanic to actually put down the circles so that they are not able to pop off of their skills. So you have to value one or the two if you decide to mix together, and it's going to be a tough challenge for you. So
it may sound OP as hell, but in all honesty, I don't see how
prison.
it will work properly.
No, we're not talking prison and lock. We're talking about prison and delete, deleters and Sarah Snow.
Okay, prison and delete wise, right? Then yeah, if it's prison and delete, that would sound a bit more feasible because the resources to prison is still cheaper than the locking mechanic in deleter in general.
Yep.
So it will actually be pretty annoying. But I still don't see it's a big problem because ultimately at the end of the day, right, most of your big stakes are still essentially coming from the deleters because they are getting power from the deleted Vanguard, and you don't want to spend too much resources on trying to imprison people, and some of the slots are too valuable due to the fact that they're trying to get as many deleted in the name.
Correct.
That sort of thing.
Correct.
So,
and deleters really don't play nice with other cards or play. So yeah, that's also one thing they gotta watch out for. You probably want to have to keep it to the minimum, especially since you don't have access to the right deck. In premium.
And plus also you need to take into consideration of playing the order card in the first place. So that alone will take up 4 of your slots as it is. Then, as mentioned, the leaders are very tight on areas like that. So you have to choose very specifically which main Vanguard do you want to focus on. Otherwise, it's not gonna work as well as you have it in your head.
Yes, you still have to choose which one do you value more as the direction of your deck. So yeah, you will have to come to that crossroads sooner or later. So
because at the end of the day, your opponent can still remove things, can still bring things back from jail.
Correct.
That's the key point.
Yep. Anna Kaiser says that they'll probably only change once all archetypes start showing up in Overdress. Yep, we probably might see those coming into play. Andrew says I'm a casual but yet a meme player, so I can tell which one I play and how fond I look back on them. Absolutely. Yes, we've already talked about Bastion Ares. When right deck is premium and V standard, it's going to be so OP, so many wombo combos to make. That's the reason why they don't put it in V standard and premium, because it would be too OP in that regards. So Andrew says, you want me to bring that comment of mine again of deleters with the police ladies again? It's not necessary. I think we have made that thing from there. Ares, Ares will be deadly. It sounds deadly, but again, the points have to stay. You have to choose between delete and the prison mechanic. So because deleters don't play nice with other things. Ares says that if they are not the greatest playmates, they are not the greatest playmates. Yes, they are not exactly the greatest playmates of all time. So, but we will see, because later on we will be seeing more of the cards, especially in the BT. This is just the start decks for now, and we are going to be expecting a lot more Overdress news from the BTs starting next week, which also includes speculation on any new changes to Sentinels. Me and Dems have already answered this. Leon, what do you think? Do you think we'll just see drop PGs? Do you think we'll just see the announcements of drop PGs coming back to Overdress, or will we see something? Will we see some changes to the Sentinel mechanic?
I think at this moment they will probably stick with the draw because it works. It's one of those things that it has worked, and don't try and fix what is not broken. And I mean, they have attempted that before, and things shows. I mean, case in point, Quintet War off.
Back to the 10th anniversary talk we go. So yeah, go ahead.
Quintet War. Yeah, and then the only next great thing that came out, the entire Sentinel thing recently, is actually a 30k Guardian.
Yep.
The 30k Crit Guardians.
Which I am
because it.
Go ahead.
Which is actually a very good alternative, because there are decks that straight up prevents your Sentinels not able to use a skill. So the 30k Guardian does help in many ways. So there will be mixed like 3 draw PGs, 1 crit Sentinel. So it's that kind of stuff, and it's great. And I don't think they will do anything with it unless you want to come out with a 50k Guardian.
Sorry, just to interrupt you guys a bit. I'm gonna be heading off now actually, because I got something else to do at 10:30. So I'll leave you guys to continue the carry on the stream without me. So
sure.
For those viewers, thank you very much. I'll leave it to Cap to do the outro later on. So I'll see you guys another time.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week, and I'll see Leon and Cap very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
So see you guys. See everyone.
Alright.
Bye. Bye guys.
See you them. So yeah, we did overrun also because we are actually coming close to 2 hours right now that we're doing the stream. Again, we appreciate you guys joining us for this, for joining us and asking all of us the questions. We love it that you guys are doing this also, and it's getting even longer because you guys are answering questions, and we love that also. So thank you so much for that. So in terms of what they're doing with Sentinels, right? I'm a bit on the fence as to whether the crit Sentinels were actually successful.
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
I mean, it does help, but I think
found
they
it.
were released too late for us to really see any sort of strong impact. I do like the idea of having to balance between crit Sentinels and PGs, but in terms of like seeing them in Overdress, it's a little bit of a long shot for me to think that they might bring the Sentinel crits back. It could absolutely happen. It is a possibility, but in terms of like shake-ups, like can you think of any way that they could shake up? Like maybe like if they give front triggers the Sentinel ability, like what could they do?
There's actually nothing much they can do because they what they tried, and I still think that the 30k Guardian, right, even though it came out so late, but it was not prominent. It was actually very prominent in the competitive scene. People are actually running those things. People don't run pure 4 PGs. Some don't even want to run the PGs, as a matter of fact, so that they can up the aggression, so they can play a proper 12 critical decks or whatsoever. The idea is that some players don't want to be caught with a pants down where they cannot activate Sentinel abilities. So that's why it's actually much more well received than one can imagine. Actually, I mean, I have seen deck builds running around. I have seen some players did certain things, and yeah, the Crit Sentinels are good. Not just for certain matchup, in my opinion. I have seen it work fast magic and very wonderful stuff in combination with some of the other things that's going on, including in premium, including in standard as well. But of course, in standard, it does get a bit wonky because numbers get really high very quickly. While in premium, you just die or you win for the most part, really.
Haruki says that crit Sentinels were only good for certain matchups, while regular Sentinels are always good. Regular Sentinels is without a doubt also. But in terms of crit Sentinels, right, I think as Leon said, one good way of using them is for a more aggressive 12 crit style of play if that's the direction that the player wants to take his games to. Alternatively as well, if you encounter stuff whereby they limit your guarding capabilities that you can encounter with one card, and or rather like a minimum of cards, like 3 or more. Like putting out the Sentinel crit gives you 30k from there, and so instead of like wasting a PG on it, right, you can actually put down the Sentinel crit, you get the 30k, then put another 2 more cards to add on to the guarding capabilities. So yeah, in certain situations, in certain matchups it may make sense, but I think in terms of universal capabilities, Crit Sentinels has achieved its goal in providing an alternative to the Sentinels of choice. And hopefully in Overdress we might see those two come back, and definitely the drop PG should come back. But in terms of shakeups, we have to see next week for the live stream when they talk about the Sentinels in more detail. So that's something that you guys can check out with us over on Twitch every Tuesday at 7:45 PM GMT time. So Kaya says, did you think that triggers will have a skill? I honestly didn't think so at first, but after seeing like the stuff that you posted, it is a possibility, but I can still argue that they might be descriptive. Like they describe what the trigger does on the card itself also, but we'll see. Yep. It's possible they can add some skills, and hopefully it's something good. If it is something good, then I would like to imagine that one of those triggers might be the original dress for another unit for Dragon Empire. So it is possible that they can do something like that also. Andrew says that the critical Sentinels were used with the cross, Blade Master, Night Rose, those three ones I remember. There were a lot that could actually use the critical Sentinels. Grand Gallop is definitely one of those that can also use those as well. I speak from experience. And the guys say that I wouldn't be shocked if they make Sentinels with different grades. So Keter, for example, have a grade 3 Sentinel.
Yeah, that would definitely be helpful, I guess, for them specifically.
That would be superbly helpful. Also. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because the problem is that, as we already know, that the Keta deck is full of great trees, so they need some additional defensive mechanism that helps them with that, at
Yeah.
least in that area.
Yeah.
So I guess that is one of the things they can do.
We talk about the order. They could possibly have an order card or set order card that gives Great Tree's guarding capability. But at the same time, also, I think that in the booster set, we could see a Great Tree PG. It'll probably be a common or maybe a rare, maybe up to a rare. But I think it is possible that we could see Sentinels not limited to Grade 1s or Grade 0s. It's dependent on the style of play that the deck has. So yeah, I think Energizer might be right on the money there. There could be a possibility that there's a Great Tree Sentinel out there in the BTs.
Or at least for Keta in particular.
Keta in particular, so yeah. Right. Yeah, so we are almost 2 hours into this. So thank you guys for sticking with us for this long. I think thus far for our Wednesday live stream, this is the longest that we have gone on. So thank you guys so much for joining us for this conversation. We'll definitely be back. We'll definitely be back next week for Vanguard Instructions for week 8. And you can also join us over on Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/CosmosVGS. You guys can go over there and find us there on Tuesdays. I will also be streaming games as well. Leon will sometimes be streaming games over on Twitch as well. So if you guys want to hang out with us, you can find us over on Twitch. Just be sure to give us a follow over there so that you can find us whenever we start streaming. So is there anything else you want to add on, Leon?
At the moment, no. I think I'm also basically done for today because I did not show up for the stream yesterday because of work.
Yeah.
So
but
I am still catching up some of the information, but so far so good. Everything is basically falling into place, and it's still looking good despite how much I don't really like about the Dragon Empire stuff up to so far that is released. But that's alright. We'll see how it goes. Our opinion changes over time when there's more is revealed.
yeah,
So
I
that's
think
it.
I think you might be able. You should be looking forward to next week because we might see some Dragon Empire reveals from the BT next week. So it could be a possibility that Victor Dragon can be something totally awesome.
Yep. Hopefully so.
I'm hoping that is the case. So Andrew says, "Yep, I'm excited for next week." We all definitely are. So do be sure to join us over on Twitch tomorrow Tuesday and here on our Vanguard discussion streams, and you guys will be able to talk to us. Follow us on all of our socials. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram as well. We also have a Discord, so if you want to find us any time of the day, whenever we're awake, you can find us over there as well. And yeah, if you like what you see here, if you're new here to CVGS, we do Vanguard content and Battle Spirits content, so be sure to give us a like and subscribe below us. And if you want to support us directly, if you like what you see here, you can be like One How Law, you can be like Daddy Angriato, you can also be like Samuel Mackey, because these three guys have actually supported us through our membership, so you guys can get access to our meme badges, you guys get access to meme emotes and our badges, so the badges will increase in rank, and you can also ask stuff like Daddy has asked us to review the Overdress anime, the first episode also, which we're definitely gonna have to do for sure. So look forward to those, and do be sure to ring the bell so you get notified of when all of our videos come out. So be it for Vanguard or for Battle Spirits. Yeah, with all that said, again, thank you guys for joining us this 2 hours. Appreciate you guys adding your input to this also. Yep, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye.